the Shelly Wall Dimmer. I've installed this device before, but Shelly actually sent me another one and asked that I test and review it, so here we are. I was not paid or coerced in any way to give this product a positive review. I will only give my honest observations and opinions. It's difficult for me to review products like this one for one very simple reason. I don't have normal light switches. My house has a low voltage relay system from the 1950s that I've upgraded to be my smart home, mostly using Shelly relays and the like. This means I don't have any wall switches for lights that I could replace with this dimmer, so instead I'm going to wire it into a test box that houses some outlets and switches that I use sometimes to control temporary effect setups for videos. The Shelly Wall Dimmer will fit in this style of wall plate just like these rocker switches, which is nice, and I think it'll add an extra bit of functionality that may be useful down the road. In order to use the Shelly Wall Dimmer, you'll need both a hot and neutral at the location. Let's start by unboxing the dimmer. Inside the box, you'll find the dimmer, screws and some wire nuts, which should make some, let's call them seasoned electricians, feel a little bit more comfortable, a faceplate, a manual, and these neat wire marking stickers. The manual has some handy wiring diagrams and other information. On the dimmer itself, there's this little plastic band holding the wires tucked neatly against the back. Just pull the little tab and it comes right off. Coming out of the device, there's a ground, a neutral, the hot wire from the panel, and the hot out to your fixture. Let's go ahead and wire it in. I already have my cover plate removed, so I just need to remove the switch I want to replace, which, despite my penchant for grouping and symmetry, will be the fourth spot or second switch. This is simply because I already have a light connected to this switch for testing and I don't feel like moving things around. Again, this box only gets used for short periods of time for temporary setups anyway. Once I have the switch out and the wires disconnected, I can wire in the dimmer. The wires in this box go directly to plugs and sockets, so the colors are mostly black and they're not solid core, but it really doesn't matter given the limited use. In your box, you should find a white neutral, a black hot, a red load wire, and a naked ground. Sometimes the load wire, or the wire that runs to your fixture, isn't red, but instead black. You can make sure you have the correct hot wire by connecting just the ground, hot, and neutral, capping the second hot wire, and turning on the power. If the unit doesn't come on, you have the wrong hot wire. Be sure to turn the power back off before you move any wires around. Once the wires are connected, simply slide the dimmer into place, tighten the mounting screws like any other switch, and install your faceplate. Obviously, I'm not using the one it came with simply because this is a multi-gang situation, but I have a standalone dimmer I set up for my wife's desk that I used the Shelly faceplate with, and I think it's quite good looking. Now it's time to connect to the dimmer. You can, of course, use the Shelly mobile app, but that's not really my thing, so I'm going to connect using the ad hoc Wi-Fi, identified as Shelly Plus WD US and the MAC address smashed together at the end, at least if you're in the US. Once connected, just go to 192.168.33.1 in the browser and set up the Wi-Fi either through the settings or by clicking the Wi-Fi icon in the upper right. After setting or getting an IP, switch back to your regular Wi-Fi and connect to the device's new IP. Now you can go ahead and disable the access point in Bluetooth, unless you want to leave them on for some reason. Adding the device to Home Assistant, if you use Home Assistant, is really easy. Chances are Home Assistant already detected the device after you set up the Wi-Fi, but if not, you can add it manually by IP. That's it. It's installed and set up. Now let's look at performance. The dimmer itself has two controls on the front, a press button to toggle the light on or off, and a touch slider for controlling the brightness. I like the look of the device and the LED indicators, but I will say the sensitivity of the touch slider is sometimes too precise, and if you roll your finger or lift a little too late, you may end up going over or under the brightness you meant. But it could be that I'm simply not agile enough. I still like the ability to set the brightness from the device, as it's something I would expect of any other dimmer. The range of dimming seems pretty good, though you'll of course have some mixed results with various bulbs and bulb types, particularly at lower brightnesses. Make sure you know the bulb you're controlling is dimmable or you will end up with bad results. Either it just won't work or you may burn out the bulb. I don't think you could damage the dimmer, but there might be some edge case where it's possible. The point is, just check the bulb. I have had the dimmer on my wife's desk for at least a few months and it's been absolutely fine. I have no real complaints. The Wi-Fi seems strong, the dimming is nice and smooth, and the firmware is high quality. as I've come to expect from Shelly. You used to have to manually calibrate the dimmer to its load, but I can't seem to find this option anywhere, so I'm guessing they've worked it out so it handles it for you, which is great. If I had more places with normal light switches, I would most certainly use more of these wall dimmers, but as it stands, I generally use the in-wall variety since I can install them directly in the fixtures. That's really nice when it's a ceiling fan and all I want to do is gain control over the light independently. I'm not sure how many ceiling fans these days have only on or off states for their light, but all of the ones in my house are that way because they're all from the 90s at the latest. Back to the Shelly Wall Dimmer. The wall dimmer will run you about $30, which I don't think is a bad price at all for a device that should last a good long while. I'll have to let you know down the road if or when the ones I have fail. Anyway, that's it. Not a super exciting video because it's a really simple to install and use device, so good for you, not so much for extending my watch time. I'd like to thank Shelly for sending me free stuff, and I'd like to thank all viewers, subscribers, members, or anyone else hearing my voice for your minutes. We're all allotted an unknown limited supply of minutes, and you've spent some of yours with me. I sincerely think that's neato. Time is the greatest gift we can give. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you'll join me next time as I continue exploring smarter circuits.